So hello everyone, in this video we'll be working on the front end side now because we have completed our backend and the routes and the controllers. So let's work on the front end. So in the front end, just like we created this auth services.js file for making the request to the authentication endpoints. Now similarly we'll be creating another file called ToDo services.js in which we'll be making requests just like this page to our backend. So we'll be importing these functions for basically working with the backend or making the request to the backend. And remember we had the endpoint to do as well. So in this we had the to do. Let me just check one more time how it was. So it was to do without any dash. So similarly I'll have to write here to do. Then after that we had the routes page, right? So first of all I'll be creating a route for create to do, let's say, and in that we have to pass. Let me just write the endpoint here, create to do. I think it was the same, and along with the data we will be passing in this function, we also have to pass the header that we can generate from a function. For that we'll be generating a creating a function basically. So we can write let's say auth headers, let's say, and in this I'll be first of all grabbing the token from the local storage that we can easily do with the help of that utility function which we created in the util folder. Get user details, we have that, right? Let me just check it. Okay, what was the function name? Yeah, it was the same. So I can grab it, get user details again. Yeah, now inside that we need to check for the token. So this question mark is basically a chaining function, chaining question mark. It checks whether this token exists or not, then only it assigns to it. Otherwise it returns null and assigns null to it. Basically this is used for not getting the errors if we don't have token in the local storage. Now I can return headers, and in that I can specify authorization, and in that I can specify the token. So our token is this one, simply. So this I can pass, this function I can execute after passing the data. I can execute that, create to do, and now I can also export it, like the export in this object. And this is not auth services, this is to do services. So this is it. Similarly I'll be creating other functions which were there. Remember we had the delete to do, right? Let me just write get to do first. Get to do, and that was a get request. Get, I can again verify the route. So what route it was? So it was get all to do and the user ID. Similarly I can make use of that, get all to do, and after that I can specify the ID. So for the ID I'll be using the ID from here, from this function. Get all to do makes more sense. And then after that I can specify this here. Yep. Similarly there was a delete to do. I can specify delete to do here. ID of the task that I want to delete. Delete to do. After that After that I can specify the ID, which is this one. Okay, in this there is no data, so we can remove it. In this also, similarly we have the update to do, in which I'll be passing the ID comma the data, and I can specify the ID after this, just like this delete to do, and data after that in the body basically. Now I can export this delete to do and this update to do. So yep, this is it. Let me just one more time check the routes. So for get all to do, it was fine. Delete to do has ID and update to do has ID with the body. So yeah, so this is working. Let me just check one more time. Yeah, it has ID and a body. Okay, so our services page is completed. Now in the next video we'll be making requests to create to do. So we'll be creating our model and we'll be making requests to our backend with the help of this function. So let's do that in the next video. Thank you for watching. Let's meet in the next video.